So, quick update to the Rory Gilmore Reading Challenge. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I have posted an update, and that is just because it's been a very crazy, stressful, and insane 2 weeks in my life. So, I did end up finishing Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. I do have that here with me. So this was a really good book, and brief premise about Angela's Ashes. So the author, Frank McCourt, he's a young boy living with his family. I think about the age of 4, they move from New York back to Ireland, where his mom and dad come from, and they live in Limerick, Ireland, for pretty much the duration of the book. So from when he was 4 and they moved, it does give a little bit of the beginning of the story in America, but most of the book is set in Ireland. And so they go to Ireland, and it's really just his story of his life. And his father was an alcoholic. His mother was very poor, did not have a lot of support, especially from the father. And there was a lot of poverty and loss. I don't want to give away the entire story. I do remember when I read it a long time ago, I was at the stage in my life where I had actually lost my little brother a few years before I read this book. And so I really appreciated and loved that the author could relate to that and somebody could feel what I was feeling. I thought that was cool. What I didn't remember was the rest of his losses. So I remember thinking, wow, this guy has it terrible. It could be so much worse. Like, I could have it as bad as him. Like, that could be me. And so reading it now, many, many years later, at a different time in my life, I remembered Frank McCourt didn't just lose one sibling, he lost 3. Not only did he lose 3 siblings, he lost 2 brothers and 1 sister. I lost 2 brothers and 1 sister. Back then, I was thinking, wow, that could be me. I should feel lucky. Not that it's a competition, but trying to make myself feel better. But now I'm like, oh boy, that's me. And there was a period of at least 2 days where I put this book down and I could not read it. I could not finish this book. And I made the decision to go back to it. It just brought up a lot of things, but I thought, like I've already read a lot of the hard stuff. So it's, I might as well finish it. So I did. But after I picked the book up, my personal life took a hit. And it took me a long time to get through the book because of that. So my cat, Mittens, that I've had since I was 14 years old, we were kids together, he just got sick, like really sick. And he's been sick for a while, but he got too sick. And I knew that I had to bring him in. And so I took him into the vet, and ultimately I had to say goodbye to Mittens. And that was hard. And I ended up taking another couple of days. And I finally finished the book, and I'm glad that I did. It happened at a really weird time in my life. I don't know that I would ever read it again, because a lot of healing is moving on from certain things, certainly not the person, but trying to forget certain things. And this book definitely is so relatable to me, that it brought back a lot of things. Would I recommend it? The book itself is amazing. It's phenomenal. He has a great way of telling a story, of putting himself, he tells the story from the perspective of a child, as he's growing up. And you see that innocent quality in him. And I loved it. I loved every bit of this book. But his personal experiences, that's one thing I would definitely caution. If you have a history in your life of loss, especially extensive loss, like you've lost multiple people, or multiple people all at once, or back to back, like it felt like for me, you may have some things that get brought up, and that's up to the individual reader if they're okay with that happening. So just a word of caution. It can be very triggering. It can bring up a lot of things. I don't recommend it for anybody that feels like reading about excessive loss would trigger them. But overall, I can definitely see why this book won so many awards. I could relate very much to the character, and I don't regret reading it. It just came at a weird point in my life. So my next read that I am going to read is actually Anna Karenina, which I have here. It is huge. It is like, oh gosh, like 800 pages. So this is going to take me a hot minute. And I am probably going to split it up. So I like to at least read 100 pages per day when I don't have crazy chaos going on like my last book. So I like to aim for 100. And if I can fit in 200, that's great. So it could take me anywhere probably from like 4 to 8 days. There's also the fact that this is like one of the classics of Russian literature, and I know they're not very popular right now, but I still want to read this. It's Tolstoy, and I actually mostly read it a long time ago, so I am gonna give it a crack, but it's gonna take me a while because not only is it very long, but I really want to get like the most out of it. This is definitely one where I will be marking the book up and paying attention to like the plot, the details, looking up words I don't know, just to get the most out of it. I might actually do like 2 updates if it's super long. But I am really looking forward to reading this book, and hopefully all of the chaos that has been in my life can settle down. Certainly don't need any more of it. And I will update as soon as I at least get halfway through this book. We'll see how far I get.